All right, so I'm just going to replicate some of your ideas that you guys have used to solve these problems mentally. So let's look at the first problem. 5 times 102. Well, I know I can do this in my head if I break down the 102. I know that 5 times 100 gives me 500, and 5 times 2 gives me 10. And I can just add 500 to 10 to get 510. And what does that look like visually in my head? Well, let's make an area model, your favorite area model that you guys have drawn when you guys were in third grade. And I'm going to make my width 5 and my length has to be 102 because that's what the problem is asking. But I don't know 5 times 102 unless I break this down into 100 and 2. And this is what we call decomposition. You're breaking down the big number to make numbers familiar to you so you can just multiply it mentally in your head. 5 times 100 then gives us 500, and then 5 times 2 gives us 10. And if I add those two together, because you are trying to find what 5 times 102 is, it will give me 510. Now, what does that look like numerically? So let's look at 5 times 102 again. What I did was I took 102 and broke it down, because I'm still multiplying, but to 100 plus 2. And I grouped them together because I know that I have to multiply 5 by 100, 5 by 2. Or I can see this as 5 times 100 plus 5 times 2. And remember, multiplication goes first before you add. So what you have to do is multiply these two, and then add those two. Okay? So you get 510 here. You should get 510 and 510. So these are the ways you write it numerically. So let's look at the next example that we just solved. 5 times 98. What do I do in this case? Well, I know that 5 times 100 was 500, but this time I'm trying to find 98. But 100 minus 98 is 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. So then 500 minus 10 gives me 490. Now, what does that look like in my head when I had to draw the area model? So this is what it looks like. My width is 5, and I'm only trying to find this shaded region. And then, so I'm have 100, and the only shaded region I'm trying to find is this is 98, and this is not 2. So I'm trying to find the shaded region. But I know that 5 times 100 gives me 500 for both, and then 5 times 2 is 10. So I just got to subtract 500 from 10, which I get 490. Well, that looks like that in my head. Now I want to decompose or maybe compose to find out what 5 times 98 is. So let's see what that looks like numerically. So 5 times 98, well, I need to kind of go up now. I know 5 times 100 minus 2 gives me 98. 100 times 2 gives me 98. Why am I doing minus 2? Because I'm trying to find what 5 times 98 is. So then I can do 5 times 100 minus 5 times 2. Because I'm multiplying 5 times 100, 5 times 2. And once again, multiplication goes first before adding and subtraction. But you go left from right, so 5 times 5, 5 times 10 is 500, minus 5 times 2 is 10, which we get 490, 490, 490. And that is what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn how to decompose. So good luck.